Hello everyone, I'm Molly here with Rose City RV of Michigan, and today we're going to take a look at the Coachmen Remote 19R. So is this the correct model for you? You may ask. Here are 5 key specifications to help you decide. This model can sleep up to 4 people, has a weight of 3,355 pounds, has an overall length of 21 feet 8 inches, and has a length of 13 feet 4 inches, and features 1 slide out. So let's take a look inside. So the first thing I notice when I walk into this unit is how spacious it is. This is a small, lightweight unit. It's made for small tow vehicles, but it really does give you a lot of floor space. That's something I keep in mind because I have a super large dog, and I know a lot of other people do as well. And I need all that floor space for his dog bed. I know it seems a bit crazy, but us dog people, you know. Okay, above the bed we have open storage, so we've got some netting there. I do like that. The drawers seem to, or the cabinet doors seem to get in the way all the time. It is a cleaner look, you might think, with the doors, but this is more user-friendly, honestly. I would prefer everything to be open. On each side of the end tables here, we've got space there. We've also got 110 outlets next to it, so if a CPAP or charging devices is an issue for you, you can still do that. We also have some space underneath of the bed here. As you can see, we've got the table there. That table can be set up right here in front of that couch to give you that table option. This couch, one thing I really like about this, this is a narrow slide, if you can tell here. It's only about 2.5 feet. Deep here, so you don't typically see a nice couch like this. Like even in my Geo Pro, that does not have a reclining couch. It just has a jackknife sofa. So this is a much better seating option. This does have the recline option too. I wish I had this in mind, I'm not gonna lie, because just putting your feet up at night is super nice. And I know a lot of people can vouch for that. So, in the kitchen area here, we've got a round sink. I do think the sink could be a little bit larger in this model, just larger pots and pans. You're cooking it inside and outside. So it's nice to have a bigger sink. We have a microwave. I like when they put the microwave underneath. A lot of people are too short to reach when they're high in the air. So it also doesn't take away from your cabinetry for your pots and pans and such. So good location for that. Underneath of that, we have our furnace located there. So you're going to have the heat kicking out of there. This little trailer, that thing will sweat you out. We have a dual burner, no oven. That's why they're obviously able to put the microwave here, which 95% of people out there do not even use their oven. So this is just fine. In a dual burner, the 3 burner is really honestly overkill. Not necessary either. I do like how they put the super large window right over the kitchen sink on the campsite side, so you're able to still see out while you're in here. And then 2 large cabinets up here, and they don't put a divider in there, so you can put big stuff up there if you want to. Just one thing to keep in mind. If you put a bunch of heavy stuff in there and it slams, it'll open that. So keep that in mind when you're stocking up the trailer. We've got some additional space down here as well for how small this trailer is. There's actually a decent amount of kitchen space. That silverware drawer there. And then still some more space over here. Now, in the rear of the coach here, we have our refrigerator. And they put a little rubber stopper on here for the door, which was great thinking, so you're not slamming into that on accident. And then we have our, I think these are 5.5 cube. And then some storage up here. And our converter is located right down here with all our fuses and our breakers. So convenient right in front of the door there. And not being blocked by a slide, that is one thing I like. And then we have our CO2 leak detector and an additional 110 outlet there. On the side here, I noticed they put this little cargo net. I thought it was kind of cool. I'm not sure what you'd put there, remote, paperwork maybe. Just kind of something to keep it stable when you're driving. Next to the door here we have I believe this is the awning light for the outside, our slide control switch, our awning switch, and then this is a Bluetooth speaker bracket. We just have the speaker somewhere else, but that just slides on there. And then next to the bathroom door, our furnace thermostat's located here. The air conditioner itself has its own dials, and it's right over the bed, so that baby will freeze you out in the middle of the night if you don't have it set to the right temperature. But you've got the gray for the fan and the blue for the cold, and you can control that temperature there. And then above here we have our max fan, so you can get tons of air moving if you're camping off grid or somewhere where you don't necessarily have a good power source. And then rear bathroom, big, lots of space in here. They did do an open cabinet on this, which I like, especially for towels. I'm all for the open cabinets because it just makes things easily available. Some storage underneath of here, not much because you're gonna have probably the water pump under there. And then we have our storage up top here for your toothbrushes and such. And then next to that we have our monitor panel that gives our tank displays, our pump switch. And then this is going to be our on-demand water control. So this little unit has an on-demand, which is nice. We have 12-volt tank heaters, which I'll shut off. We don't need those on. Those are 12-volt pad heaters on the tanks themselves. So your fresh gray and black are going to have a 12-volt pad heater on them. And then we also have our GFCI reset located in the bathroom. Without looking, I would have to guess that all the outlets are tied right into there. So one thing to keep in mind if that trips. And then large shower. A 6'2" person easily could take a shower in there. Maybe even taller, but I like how they keep that base short and give you that skylight so you do get that room if you're a super tall person. And then we have our bathroom vent, also has that small fan located in there as well, so you can get some air along with the window. If you open that, kick that fan on, it'll really turn the air through here. So that's going to be it for the inside. Let's go take a look at the outside. Okay, so on the outside, we have a full-length awning. That is one thing that they do well with, and I mentioned that in a lot of my videos. Full-length awnings are a bonus for sure. Most time you're outside, you're spending it underneath your awning. One thing I don't know if you can really see, this cool little glow light here is a step light. Kind of helps you guide yourself at night. It's hard to see during the daylight, but this is a super cool feature. I haven't seen that on any other product. And it just kind of gives it a unique look, but it's also functional. It lights up those stairs so you can see where you're going at night. So moving along here, I like the graphic package that they use on these, the green and the black. They really stand out well, along with the oval windows. The oval windows are just super unique. You are able to open those. That is one concern and question we get often, but that's definitely still something you can get air through, no different than the other frameless style windows. It just, once again, is that unique look. Then we have our Goodyear Wranglers on these. Gives you a little bit more ground clearance, is a better quality tire. Obviously, people make jokes about off-roading. I mean, yes, these are designed to go off-road, but don't be taking off any sweet jumps. And then we have our power outlet out here. So if you want to hook up an outside TV or electric griddle or something, you can do that. Furnace exhaust there, just remember, that's super hot. Don't put anything in front of that. And then an LP gas port under there so you can hook up those outside grills and griddles, little grill or griddle rail there. And then we have our pass-through storage here. This goes underneath of the bed. Obviously there's a ton of stuff kind of scattered in and around here. This is the table for the grill. This comes with a nice Suburban cast iron griddle plate. So you have basically a Blackstone that comes with it. We've got tire pressure monitor system, and then obviously solar built in on this as well. I believe this has a 190 or 200 watt panel. That's the controller that you see there as well. Currently we're getting 22 volts coming in from that solar now. So. And then we have a little light switch in there which does these cool green lights on the front to go with that oval window. Just super unique look. And then single 20-pounder. They did have 220s, but honestly now the only thing that burns that much propane is going to be your furnace. So really don't need that much propane. If you wanted to add an additional tank, you could. Not necessary if you ask me. Then up here we have our battery disconnect. Super handy. I'm glad to see everybody's doing that now on almost everything across the board. Then we have our pass-through storage here on the other side. With our stabilizers, these are going to be manual stabilizers on these. Gives you that extra bit of ground clearance. You don't see power stabilizers a lot on these off-road setups because they just don't have the ground clearance for them. And then under there we have our fresh tank drain and our freshwater fill, so that's what fills the tank and that's what drains it. Then we have our slide box located here with our nice round window that looks super unique. And then over here we have our outside shower, our city water connection, our black tank flush, our 30 amp power hookup, and our cable and satellite hookup as well. And then underneath of that we have our sewer outlet discharge, the left being the gray and the right being the black for that toilet. And then in the rear of the coach we have our spare tire, which I liked how they did not cheap out on the spare tire. They still give you the same tires you have on the rest of the coach, just not that aluminum rim. And then we have our observation camera wiring, which is super handy, which they just came out with a new one on that. We'll do a product video on the Vision S7. We just haven't done it yet. And then our on-the-go ladder system, so you can use that nice Lippert aluminum foldable ladder, and our on-the-go, our on-demand water heater located right here as well, with those controls in the bathroom so you can get exactly the temperature you want when you want it. So that's going to do it for the 19R. If you've got questions, feel free to let us know.